What if the most powerful animated films were never meant for kids in the first place? What if behind the bright colors and drawn lines lived stories heavier, sharper, and far more honest than most live-action movies even dared to be? In a world where cartoons were once dismissed as simple entertainment, these films shattered that idea completely. And somewhere in this list, one title proves that animation can go deeper than anyone expects. Number 10. Grave of the Fireflies, 1988. It begins with a boy in a train station, alone, hungry, and fading from the world. That opening scene tells you right away that Grave of the Fireflies is not a soft, comforting story with easy moments. Instead, it is a raw look at survival during the final months of the Second World War. The film follows two siblings, Seita and Setsuko, trying to stay alive after losing everything. There is no fantasy escape and no convenient twist. Only the reality of war seen through the eyes of children who should have been safe, but never were. The animation is soft and warm, which makes the story even more painful to watch. Gentle imagery clashes with harsh truth, creating a striking contrast that lingers long after the film ends. Every quiet moment between the siblings feels real. Every small joy hits harder. Every loss feels unforgettable. When it released in 1988, it shocked audiences around the world. Critics praised its honesty. Viewers cried quietly in theaters. Decades later, many still hesitate to re-watch it because the emotional weight is that strong. Grave of the Fireflies did not just prove animation could be serious. It proved animation could break your heart in ways live action rarely can. Number 9. Akira, 1988. Akira did not just enter the world of animation. It kicked the door off its hinges, stormed inside, and changed everything. Set in the neon streets of Neo-Tokyo after a massive explosion, the film takes you straight into a city that looks alive, restless, and always on the edge of something dangerous. When a young biker named Tetsuo suddenly gains frightening powers, the entire city becomes a battlefield between science, rebellion, and unstoppable destruction. What makes Akira special is not only its animation quality, which was so advanced that animators used more colors and more frames than almost any film of its time. It is the way it treats its audience. It never talks down to you. It never slows down to explain every detail. It throws you into a world filled with fear, anger, and the question of what happens when power grows faster than the human mind can handle. When it premiered in 1988, many people around the world had never seen animation like this. Dark themes, intense action, and a plot that demanded full attention. Akira is the film that convinced countless adults that animation can be epic and daring. It became a foundation for modern cyber stories and is still studied, copied, and praised today. Akira is not just a movie, it is a milestone. Number 8. Waltz with Bashir 2008. Waltz with Bashir opens like a dream you cannot explain, but you also cannot forget. A group of dogs rushes through a city at night, and the scene feels real yet distant, like a memory slipping just out of reach. That is exactly what the film explores: memory, trauma, and the pieces of the past that return when you least expect them. This animated documentary follows director Ari Folman as he searches for the truth about his time as a soldier during a war in the early 1980s. Instead of using actors in front of a camera, the film uses animation to bring memories and emotions to life. Scenes melt together, shift in tone, and blur the lines between dream and reality. This approach allows the film to show feelings that live action could not easily express. The animation is bold, stylized, and built to mirror the confusion and weight carried by those who experienced conflict. When Waltz with Bashir released in 2008, it stunned global audiences. Nobody expected an animated film to tackle such a serious topic with such maturity and honesty. Critics praised it for pushing the boundaries of what animation could be. It did more than prove cartoons were not just for kids. It proved animation could handle human memory with grace, pain, and clarity all at once. Number 7. Persepolis TOE 1007. Persepolis begins in simple black and white drawings, but do not let the clean lines fool you. Behind every stroke is a powerful story about growing up in a world filled with change, fear, and strength. Based on the autobiography of Marjane Satrapi, the film follows a young girl navigating her childhood, her teenage years, and her identity in a place undergoing deep political and cultural shifts. The beauty of Persepolis lies in its honesty. It is not a loud film, but it is full of sharp humor, painful truths, and experiences that feel universal, even if you have never lived through anything similar. The animation style allows emotions to come through clearly, sometimes even more clearly than live action could. A single look, a simple background, or a short silence becomes a full scene on its own. When it premiered in 2007, viewers were surprised by its courage. The film showed that animation could tell real human stories without needing bright colors or fast action. It handled themes of growing up, finding your voice, and holding on to your identity with both softness and strength. Persepolis became an instant classic because it felt personal and honest. It taught audiences that animation can be close to the heart and true to life in ways few films manage. Number 6. Perfect Blue, 1997. Perfect Blue begins like a sweet, bright story about a rising pop performer. Then, one small decision sends everything spiraling into a maze of confusion, pressure, and identity crisis. Directed by Satoshi Kon, the film follows Mima, a young performer trying to reinvent herself. But as she steps into a new chapter of her career, strange things begin to happen. Someone is watching her. Someone is controlling parts of her life, or maybe something deeper is happening. Kon uses animation to show a mind slipping between what is real and what is imagined. Scenes flip without warning. Mirrors reflect things that should not be there. Conversations repeat in unsettling ways. This style traps you in Mima's point of view, making every moment feel unstable. It is a story about the pressure to please others, the fear of losing yourself, and the danger of chasing an image you can no longer control. When Perfect Blue released in 1997, it caught critics off guard. It was intense, unsettling, and impossible to ignore. Many people realized for the first time that animation could explore psychological fear just as effectively as any live-action thriller. Perfect Blue is a reminder that the human mind can be the most unpredictable place of all, and animation can bring that to life in unforgettable ways. Number 5. Watership Down, 1978. The moment Watership Down begins, you can tell something feels different. There are rabbits, yes, but they are not the soft, harmless creatures you see on greeting cards. These rabbits dream of danger, sense disaster, and fight for survival with more courage than many human characters in live-action films. The story follows a group of rabbits who flee their home after one of them receives a terrifying vision of destruction. What unfolds is a journey filled with threats from nature, people, and even other rabbits. The animation is gentle in color, but sharp in tone. Every hillside, burrow, and field feels alive, yet never safe. The film treats its audience with respect, expecting them to understand loss, fear, and the weight of choices. There are moments of bravery, friendship, and quiet hope. But there are also scenes that made parents wrongly assume it was a simple animal adventure, only to realize it held much deeper meaning. Released in 1978, Watership Down shocked viewers with its intensity. Critics admired its storytelling, while young viewers who expected something cheerful found themselves watching a story closer to an epic survival tale. Over the years, it earned a loyal following because of its honesty. Watership Down showed that animation can reveal the harsh beauty of nature and the courage to keep going, even when the world grows dark. Number 4. The Plague Dogs, 1980 TOE. If Watership Down left you shaken, The Plague Dogs arrives like a second blow. Made by the same director, this film follows two dogs who escape from a testing facility where they were used for experiments. Their bodies are injured, their minds are confused, and all they want is freedom. But once they are out, rumors begin to spread that they may carry a dangerous illness, turning the world into a place where fear spreads faster than truth. The story is bold from the first scene. It does not hide the pain the two dogs endure, nor does it soften the world outside the facility. The landscapes are wide and bleak, filled with cold water, empty hills, and humans who panic at the sound of danger. The animation style is simple but strong, relying on quiet moments and natural colors to create a heavy atmosphere. When it released in 1982, audiences were not ready for an animated film this serious. Critics appreciated its daring approach, but many viewers walked away stunned by its emotional weight. The Plague Dogs doesn't try to comfort you. Instead, it invites you to follow two animals who want nothing more than peace. It proved that animation can handle deep sadness and complex themes without losing authenticity. Few films, animated or not, leave such a lasting mark. Number 3. Heavy Metal, 1981. Heavy metal does not whisper its message. It blasts it through the speakers, kicks down the door, and dives headfirst into wild science fiction stories filled with bold action, strange worlds, and unforgettable imagery. This anthology film takes you through several different tales connected by a glowing green orb that appears in every story. Each segment has its own style, its own characters, and its own strange charm. Everything about heavy metal feels larger than life. Spaceships glide through swirling galaxies. Warriors fight in smoky wastelands. Cities rise in neon colors and impossible shapes. The animation uses bright colors and sharp angles to create a visual world that feels electric. The stories range from adventure to mystery to darker themes, showing the many ways animation can stretch beyond simple storytelling. When it hit theaters in 1981, it attracted adult viewers who wanted something different from the usual animated films of the time. Critics were divided, but fans adored it. It quickly became a late-night cult favorite, especially for anyone who enjoyed loud music, cosmic settings, and bold artistic choices. Heavy metal did not follow rules. It created its own. And in doing so, it showed that animated films can be daring, vivid, and packed with imagination, meant for grown audiences. Number 2. Anomalisa To 1015. Anomalisa looks calm and quiet at first glance, but beneath its stop-motion style lies one of the most emotional stories ever told through animation. The film follows a man who travels to a hotel to give a speech, feeling bored with life and disconnected from the people around him. Everyone he meets seems to sound the same and act the same until he encounters someone who suddenly feels different from the rest. The animation uses detailed puppets and carefully crafted sets to create a world that feels familiar and real. The expressions are small but powerful, showing tiny moments of doubt, hope, or confusion. The story grows slowly, focusing on conversations, little gestures, and the feeling of searching for meaning in everyday life. There are no explosions or chases. Instead, the film explores the quiet corners of the human heart. Released in 2015, Anomalisa surprised critics with its storytelling. It proved that animation can capture adult emotions with incredible accuracy. Many viewers saw themselves in the characters, feeling the weight of routine and the desire for connection. The film does not rush to a perfect ending. It simply shows life the way it can be, and that honesty made it stand out as one of the strongest examples of animation created for an older audience. Number 1. Ghost in the Shell, 1995. Ghost in the Shell begins with a quiet city at dawn, lights flickering across tall buildings, cables stretching between towers, and a world where the line between human and machine grows thinner every day. The story follows Major Motoko Kusanagi, a skilled operative trying to track down a mysterious figure who can tamper with people's memories across digital systems. But as she goes deeper into the investigation, she begins to question what she is and what it means to exist in a world where minds and bodies can be changed like parts of a machine. The animation is stunning, filled with wide shots of futuristic skylines, rainy alleys, and advanced technology. Every frame feels handcrafted, with a calm beauty that hides the tension underneath. The story explores identity, thought, and the fear of becoming something less or something more. When it premiered in 1995, Ghost in the Shell became an instant landmark. Critics praised its intelligence. Audiences admired its immersive world. Filmmakers around the globe looked at it as inspiration for building entire futuristic genres. It proved without question that animation could address deep ideas while still delivering striking action and unforgettable visuals. Even decades later, it remains one of the most influential animated films ever made. And there you have it, 10 animated films that didn't just push the limits. They tore right through them and proved that cartoons can hit harder than most live-action stories ever dare. These films showed that animation can be sharp, emotional, strange, and unforgettable. Now it's your turn. Which of these shook you the most? Drop your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and keep exploring the worlds that redraw every rule you thought you knew.